All right, so we are ready once again. Let me pin this. All right, welcome once again to another of our weekly Sabbath meetings, weekly Sabbath teaching here on Just a Word. All right, so welcome to all our members who are here, our family, and welcome to those who will be watching on YouTube. All right. And if you have not yet done so, please subscribe to our channel where you can receive not only teachings, but also documentary style videos, all different types of videos that will edify you in your journey of seeking biblical scriptural truth. Okay. So today we are going to give a summary of what the Bible is about, because we are here with people, some people who are coming from Christendom, some just coming from Christendom. And a lot of people, most of us don't really understand what the Bible is about. And if you don't understand that the Bible is about Israel, then you're going to be dissuaded. And of course, the religions of this world, they do not teach us what the Bible is about. For example, Christianity teaches us about a false premise, lays a false foundation on what the Bible is about. And so Christians are there looking for what is not written to transpire. And in so doing, we can be headed in the wrong direction. But when we get an idea of exactly what it is about, then we will more easily get an understanding of the Bible. All right? And as we have said before in several publications, the Most High created the earth and he set apart a people unto himself. And these people are the children of Israel. And the entire Bible is about these people and about anyone else in the world who wants to join themselves to these people. Very important. Because in our zeal for this great salvation of our people, we often leave out the Gentiles, those among the other nations who have heard the good news and want to partake. We cannot disqualify these people. We cannot reject these people. We also have to give the good news to these people. So that is why, as the Apostle Shaul did, we need to speak the good news or the gospel to each and every person. Let me reiterate, we need to speak the good news or the gospel not only to our people, but to every person on this earth, because they too have a part in the salvation. Salvation is based on one people, the children of Israel, but those who wish to join themselves to Yahuwah, join themselves to his people and partake of this salvation. All right? So the Most High created the world. He set apart a people unto himself. And in these people, he will show forth his splendor or his glory and his praise among all nations. So these people are there to really attract the other nations. And in creating his covenant with these people, covenant means agreement. In creating his agreements with these people, in the whole story of these people, he created certain covenants with different people along the way, building up to the salvation of these people, indeed the salvation of the whole earth. So he started with, I shouldn't say started really, but it is centered around a covenant that he made with Abraham. All right, and this is the centerpiece of the entire rest of the Bible. All right? You see it right through, mentioned over and over again unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. How many times we see all those three names? Those three names refer to the covenant he made with Abraham, which was given, handed down to Isaac, and which was handed down to Jacob, and which was handed down to the children of Jacob, and which is handed down to the world through the Messiah, Yahusha. All right? Primarily for Israel, but we cannot leave out the rest of the world. All right? So here's the covenant. Genesis 17:7. Share the screen. Here's this covenant on which almost the rest of the entire Bible is based. Genesis 17:7. Can somebody read, please? Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, Queen, can you try without seeing if there's no interference?
Okay.
If so, then I'll do it.
So Genesis 17, verse 7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be an Elohim unto thee and to thy seed after thee.
Oh, we cannot hear it, hear the humming. Only hope you don't get any more greater. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant to be an Elohim unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So this is the covenant with Abraham, which is to come to all of his descendants, all of his seed. All right? This is the core of what the Bible is about and how it will be executed down to the very end. Most High has made this promise and he kept this promise. Now, the promise was confirmed to Isaac. I'm asking you to mute your phones, please. On the recordings, they are very annoying to hear the buzzing, etc. All right. So he confirmed it with Isaac, and most importantly, for our purposes, he confirmed it with Jacob. And we're going to see how he confirmed it with Jacob, which is also going to destroy another Christian notion again. 1 Chronicles 16:16. Read these.
1 Chronicles 16:16. Even of the covenant he made with Abraham and of his oath unto Isaac.
All right, Queenie.
Yes?
The buzzing is there.
Let me try my laptop.
Yeah. But Bernie, do it in the meantime. 1 Chronicles 16:16.
Even of the covenant which he made with Abraham and of his oath unto Isaac. And hath.
So he said he made it with Abraham and he confirmed it with an oath unto Isaac. Verse 17.
And hath confirmed the same to Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
All right. So this is actually saying that the Torah, the law that was given to Israel, is part of the covenant with Abraham. Okay. It's part of the covenant with Abraham. Let me go there. I don't see any Chromebook there to let in, so when you're ready, I guess I'll see it pop up. Yes. Yes. So he confirmed the same to Jacob for a law. It is through the Torah that this promise is made unto Israel. And this is what we say when we say that covenants merge into covenants. A covenant is not done away with and replaced. The Most High does not do that. The Most High merges covenants into covenants. So the covenant was with Abraham was given unto Isaac, and which was given unto Jacob. So the covenants keep merging in the hand of a different, what do you call it? I don't know the word to it. In the hand of a different person. All right. So it was given to Jacob for a law. You cannot throw away the law. If you throw away the law, you throw away the covenant with Abraham, which forms the core of the Bible. Deuteronomy 29:29. You've used this, you might see this several times. That proves that the law is for us forever. Verse 29. Is Queenie in as yet?
I don't see her.
All right, read Burning.
The secret things belong unto Yahuwah our Elohim, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
So the law is with us forever for us to do it. And of course, that is why we are in captivity suffering for the sins of our fathers, because we didn't know anything about any law. We might say we didn't go into any agreement with about any law. How come I am liable for the sins of my father, but you're liable for the sins of your father because your father's made an agreement. Your father's made an agreement with Yahuwah, which to Yahuwah, and at the time of the agreement, it is forever, and to our children, their children forever. So that comes down to us, and it goes down to our children, our children's children forever. As long as you are an Israelite, you are under the law, under the curses of the law and the blessings of the law. All right? So what we are looking at today is what the Bible is about, and we're going to look at the two sticks, the joining of the two sticks, and we'll soon see what this means, what the joining of the two sticks actually mean. And we're going to go back to when the Torah was actually being walked out among Israel in a right way, when Israel was under David. And it was under David that we see the similitude of the kingdom that is to come, which is why there are many prophecies of David, my servant, because David was used as the shadow of things to come. David showed us how the Yahuwah's kingdom would be administered, would be run. Huh? Two sticks? I'm going to explain it. Tanya was asking what are the two sticks. I'm going to explain it. All right. So Isaiah 55:3, to show how much Yahuwah had respect unto David's tenure. Isaiah 55:3. Queenie, try that with the book.
All right, so Isaiah 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me.
Okay, hold on. Queenie, the same thing.
All right. Incline your ear, and come unto me. Any better?
Same noise in the background.
I don't know why.
I don't know. That's why. Bernie, you'll have to read.
Okay, it sounds like you and Queenie always clash when
Yes.
once you turn on the YouTube. Yeah.
Queenie,
Okay.
mute your mic, please. I can still hear it. Yeah.
Incline your ear. Isaiah 55:3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
This is all David. Verse 4.
Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and a commander to the people.
This is it. I have given him for a witness to the people. In other words, this is how my kingdom should be run, as it was run by David. All right? And this is how someone should command their people. Of course, we're not talking about the David that did those things, especially with Uriah. But we're speaking about David when he had the kingdom running in righteousness after he had repented. All right? Verse 5.
Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of Yahuwah your Elohim, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
All right, so
They're outside by the scholarly door.
these are the Gentiles nations running to Yahuwah. These are the Gentile nations running to Yahuwah. Verse 5. All right, 2 Samuel 8, verse 16 to 15. Verse 6 to 15. Somebody mute your mic, please. Somebody. Huh? Yeah, Samuel, mute your mic, please. Second Samuel 8. Please control your mics, because guess what? It distracts me from what I'm saying. A lot of times it just throws me off my thought patterns, concentrating on the buzzing noises. Please control your mics. Verse 6.
Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants of David and brought gifts. And Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went.
All right, so of course, so this is what we're talking about, the tributaries, all right?
Oh.
This is what, yeah, you see it? The Syrians became servants to David.
Right.
And brought gifts. This is part of the tributary. Tributaries, they serve you and they bring you gifts, which is why it's prophesied in Isaiah that the nation shall serve Israel, and that they shall bring, the Gentiles shall bring their, what's the word they use? The Gentiles shall bring their thing, their wealth unto Israel. And Yahuwah preserved David wheresoever he went. Down to verse 13, because we have a whole lot to cover. Verse 13.
And David got him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men.
Verse 14.
And he put garrison in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. And Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went.
All right, we see the same thing again. Yahuwah preserved David. So here's the thing. He put this is a manifestation of the kingdom to come. He put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. All right? This is also going to come, as you see in Amos 9, 11 to 12. Amos 9, 11 to 12. Verse 11.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
All right, so this is what is to come. The restoration of David's temple, the tabernacle of David, restoration of Israel. Because under David, whole 12 tribes of Israel, all Israel were together as one nation, one single unitary nation. And this is what the Bible is about, to get us back to the point where Israel will be one single unitary solitary nation of 12 tribes, plus Gentiles who want to add themselves to Israel. and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Verse 12.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom.
All right, so this is
And of
what it just said. When it said, and David put garrisons in Edom, in all Edom put he garrisons, and the children of Edom became servants of David. Continue.
that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathens which are called by my name, saith Yahuwah that doeth this.
All right, so all the heathen and that are called by Yahuwah's name and the remnant of Edom shall be possessed by Israel. So when we get back to this, read 14 again.
2 Samuel 8, verse 14.
Yeah.
And he put garrison in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. And Yahuwah preserved David whithersoever he went.
Read verse 15.
And David reigned over all Israel, and David executed judgment and justice unto all his people.
This is all Israel that shall be saved. That is speaking about in Romans 11:26. David reigned over all Israel. What it means, David reigned over the whole 12 tribes of Israel. Right? The whole 12 tribes of Israel. And that all Israel will be saved in the end, because that is what is going to happen in the end. All 12 tribes are going to come back together. And so David had everything going on. And then his son Solomon came and he continued in the ways of David. But when Solomon got older, he had a weakness, and that weakness was women. And he went after the strange gods of the many women that he had. And because of that, Yahuwah was angry with Solomon. Verse 9.
1 Kings 11:9. And Yahuwah was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice,
Go ahead.
and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Yahuwah commanded.
Whoa, that, you see, that's how the strange gods sweet. Solomon had such great interaction and such great power from the Most High. And then when Solomon started going after these other gods, Solomon started disobeying the Most High and could not stop himself from going after these gods. You see why we have to keep away from idols. That's why we have to, when we come into this, we have to try to separate ourselves from the past. When we walked in the idols of the Christians. Yeah? You're with me?
Yeah.
Verse 11.
Wherefore Yahuwah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant.
So he will take away the kingdom. So this is it. This is where Israel started to break up now, from this Solomon refusing to let go of idolatry. And this is why we are in captivity today, because our foreparents, our fathers went into idolatry. Idolatry is the problem. That is why we have to try to wrest ourselves away from idols. So when we hear Jesus Christ is an idol, and we are given proof, Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ. We hear that the Lord is Baal. We hear that God is good, or God are good. And we refuse to let it go. We are doing the same thing that Solomon has done. Yeah? Verse 12.
Notwithstanding, in thy days, I will not do it for David, thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
So Yahuwah gave Solomon a reprieve. It said, you're going to enjoy your reign. But your son, I'm going to take it out of the hand of your son. Verse 13.
Okay, hold on one screen. Okay. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
All right. And this, he said he would give one tribe to David. One tribe. Take note of that, all right? One tribe. 1 Kings 4:20.
First Kings 4:20.
Yeah.
Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry.
All right. This is where we're going back to. All the prophecies are going back to this. Judah and Israel coming back together, being many, eating, drinking, and making merry. This is what the coming Israel is all about. Verse 21.
And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms, from the river unto the land of the Philistines, and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life.
And this is what the coming kingdom is about. Again, the nations shall bring their wealth into it. They're going to bring presents, and the whole world is going to serve the Messiah for the entire time. All right? For the 1,000 years. But did I do this before? All right. No, I'm looking at a scripture. Okay, so yes, I did that already. All right. So the kingdom to come would be rent into two. As he said, he would give one tribe to David's son, but he will take the other tribes and give it to someone else. And that person was a man called Jeroboam. Jeroboam. And here in 1 Kings 11:33, 1 Kings 11:33, Jeroboam was notified. A priest called Ahijah, or they call it Ahijah. Ahijah came to Jeroboam and notified him of him getting the 10 tribes. Verse 30.
1 Kings 11:30. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it.
No, go to 29.
Okay. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field.
Go ahead.
And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces.
All right. So what's the significance of the new garment?
New kingdom, the coming back.
New kingdom, new beginning.
Yeah.
All right. And Ahijah caught the new God and rent it in 12 pieces. What is the significance of the 12 pieces?
12
12 tribes
tribes.
of Israel.
All right. Doesn't take a rocket science to scientist to figure that out. Verse 31.
All right, verse 31. And he said unto Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom of out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee.
All right. Yeah, continue.
but he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, for Jerusalem's sake, which I have, Jerusalem's sake, this city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Could you
Uh-huh.
guys please not write on the screen? It's distracting.
All right, go ahead.
because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of Zidonians.
All right.
Chemosh,
Who is Ashtoreth? Who is Ashtoreth?
Easter queen,
There.
Ishtar,
Ishtar,
Yeah.
yeah,
Easter.
Yeah, Ashtoreth is Easter. And Christians don't know that they have been tricked into giving worship to Ashtoreth, Asherah, Easter. Continue.
The goddess of Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgment, as did David his father.
So this is what is important for us as Israelites, to do that which is right in whose eyes? Our eyes?
No, in
When I talk
Yahweh's
to
eyes.
When I talk to Christians, they tell you about, well, I believe and I think that, and I don't believe that we should do this. So I do that because I think it is this. No. What is right in mine eyes? And what is right in mine eyes is laid out in his statutes, his judgments, his commandments, his ordinances, right? As did David, his father. And this is the same thing for Gentiles as well, who wish to join themselves unto Yahuwah. They have to join themselves unto Israel by doing that which is right in Yahuwah's eyes. So those Gentiles who just come and do their own thing, set up their own thing, I believe this, and they gave their church a different name, and they separate themselves from Yahuwah's people and from Yahuwah's laws. They eat their pork, and they profane his Sabbaths with his Sunday, all of that. Problems. They are in trouble. Right? Can't speak what the Most High will do, but they are in trouble. Verse 34.
Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes.
So you see who he chose?
Yeah.
The one who kept his commandments and statutes. The other people are rejected. Verse 5.
Verse 35.
Yeah, 35.
But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes.
Verse 36.
And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there.
All right. So here's this. He said he left David.
No, you're breaking it. You froze. Dang. AJ.
I was actually gonna ask. He gave one to David. So and then the 10 to the Jeroboam. So where's the one that's left?
Oh, for a
Yeah, right,
good
right.
connection. Yes.
I was asking. So he gave one of the nations to one of the tribes to he kept it for David,
Yeah.
right? Um, and then he gave 10 to the Jeroboam.
Yes. Could you, whenever you're speaking, please, could you use the video, because for people watching, it's not so visually friendly with people seeing a black space. Anyway, go ahead, Samuel.
Okay. I was asking that after dividing the 12 tribes, it becomes there's one that's left because he gave one to David and then he gave 10 to Jeroboam. So where's the next one?
Okay, that's where we're going at.
Okay.
All right. As I was saying, I don't know where I got cut off, but what I was saying that I am learning that all is not all. When the Bible says all, it's not always all. Yeah, I've said this before, but it gets more and more pronounced the more and more you dig into scripture, because we do err. We do err when all to mean end up excluding others. All right. And this we do also with the Gentiles. And Mosai has been showing me the Gentiles for the entire last few days, showing to me that we are excluding the Gentiles by using the all to mean all. So here we have one tribe given to David. But we're going to see further on that that one tribe was not one tribe, but the Bible said one tribe. So if we take the one tribe to mean literally one tribe, then that would exclude another tribe and would cause all of the mats to go out. So we're going to see what the one there means in this. I don't know if it's in this verse, but I think it's another verse further on. We're going to see further on. All right, continue. And I will give it on one tribe. Oh, we did that already. Verse 37.
And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and shall be king over Israel.
38.
And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I commanded thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David thy father did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and he will give Israel unto thee.
One thing, he didn't say David, my father, did he? Said David, my servant, because David wasn't Jeroboam's father. All right? David was the father of Rehoboam, the one that will be given the one tribe, which is more than one. Verse 39.
And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever.
All right. And Solomon now sought to kill Jeroboam. And Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. So when Solomon heard this, so we see Solomon had gone into real idolatry, because he heard that this was prophesied through Yahuwah of Jeroboam, and he sought to kill Jeroboam. So my daughter asked me if Solomon is going into the kingdom, and that is a nice little thing to seek out, because it's not looking good for Solomon right here. All right. So the 10 tribes taken from Rehoboam, but Jeroboam did not walk in the ways of Yahuwah. All right. He did not walk in the ways of Yahuwah. But first, we're going to look at how the 12 tribes were separated. And it says it's Rehoboam's. Let's see. Rehoboam was Solomon's son. He was of the line of David. He was the one who was given the one tribe, which is more than one tribe. Verse 1.
And Rehob, excuse me, excuse me. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king.
After the death of Solomon, his son Rehoboam was to be made king. Verse 2.
And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt,
Continue.
that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying,
It's Rehoboam.
Rehoboam,
Verse 4.
Rehoboam, thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So the children of Israel gave a condition unto Rehoboam. Make the load lighter on us than Solomon put on us, and we will serve you. Verse 5.
And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed.
Verse 6.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men, then stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people?
7.
And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever.
All right, which matches what the Messiah said. Remember the Messiah said, he that is greatest among you shall be the least among you.
Yeah,
Who is your master must be a servant.
yeah.
Paraphrasing it. Yeah, this is the same thing. So the older men gave him a right answer. Verse 8. But he
forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
go ahead.
And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter?
And he said unto them,
Can you go up a little bit more? Okay. You want me to read it again?
no. Verse 10.
And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
Yeah, go ahead.
And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
All right. So you see why it's not wise to take counsel from inexperienced people, younger people. Poor counsel cost him the kingdom. Had he listened to the elders who were experienced, but he followed the way of the younger people. Verse 12.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the third day.
Uh-huh. And the king answered people roughly. Go on, continue.
And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
Yeah.
Brother Brian, I
Continue.
didn't hear when you said a phone call came in. When you said, do you see why it's not good to do what?
Oh, to listen to the counsel of the younger people, inexperienced people.
Uh,
Yeah.
Brother Brian,
Yeah.
isn't that the reason why when it was set up that with Moshe, that they were always to have elders to take counsel from them?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Listen to the younger, and that cost him the kingdom. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Sir Bernie.
14.
Yeah.
And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Continue.
Yeah, continue.
Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from Yahuwah, that he might perform his saying, which Yahuwah spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat.
Yes. Somebody trying to get on, so I'm trying to.
Okay.
All right. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from Yahuwah, that he might perform his saying, which Yahuwah spake by Ahijah the Shilomite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So this was from Yahuwah, so as to get the kingdom to be divided. Verse 16.
So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents.
All right. So you see, Israel departed, and it would seem like they say Israel departed. So every tribe of Israel departed. As you were saying, all is not all. We do err whenever we take all to mean all. And I'm learning this more and more and more every day. Verse 17.
But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the city of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them.
All right, so we have the 12 tribes. So we have Rehoboam being given one tribe. Remember, I said Rehoboam was given one tribe, you know. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So there were children of Israel from other tribes that dwelt in the cities of Judah. Rehoboam also reigned over them. Continue.
Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribe. Oh, excuse me. Let me read that again. 1 Kings 12:18. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died.
Okay,
Therefore,
so what we see there, all Israel. This would sound like everybody in Israel stoned him, or every tribe in Israel stoned him. No, this was speaking about the remnant, the 10 tribes, the people from the 10 tribes stoned him. Got it?
Yeah.
So when we wrote, that is why Romans 11:26 is a problem, you know, because people are taking all to literally mean all. All is not all. This would mean, if you even take this to mean the 10 tribes, if you take it literally, it would mean every single hundreds of thousands of Israelites stoned one person. That is not so. It means a remnant, a representative of all the tribes. Mixed up. Maybe not even all the tribes there, but whoever was there represented a sample of Israel. Therefore,
King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem.
verse 19.
So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day.
All right. So Israel, which Israel is this referring to here? Where's mine? What I finish? Where's mine?
10 tribes.
All right. Oh, where am I? I should have said. So these are the 10 tribes, right? And what is the house of
Yeah.
David? What is the house of
Yeah.
David?
Yehuda.
All right. So you have to be able to spot these things. That's why scripture is not ABC. You have to know when this means what and what this means. Sometimes Israel is used to mean the whole house of Israel. Sometimes it's used to mean the 10 tribes. Sometimes it's just mean a few people of Israel. You have to know when. Verse 20.
And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that
Wait. When what? All Israel, right?
yeah,
Which all Israel is it speaking about here?
The 10 tribes.
brethren,
The 10 tribes. All right.
The
Continue.
northern tribe.
Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
Okay, so hear this now. None that followed the house of Israel, but the tribe of Judah only. So this would imply that only one single Dege tribe followed the house of David. But look at the next verse. That's why I tell you, all is not all, and we do err whenever we conclude that this means totally all. Verse 21.
And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin,
Stop.
and 100 and
Stop.
Yeah.
There is none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. So we have a double here. We have none, and we have only. That would mean most definitely only one single tribe. And the very next verse, read it again.
And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon.
All right, so this is the southern kingdom.
Yeah.
The southern kingdom, or the house of Judah, or the house of David,
Mm.
is Judah with the tribe of Benjamin.
Mhm.
It is even implied that Simeon was there with them, because Simeon everything. And also they
Brother
dwelt
Brian,
in the
you
cities
broke up.
of
You're
Judah.
breaking up.
You broke up when you were talking about Simeon. What did you say about Simeon? It has been
Okay,
said
some
that
also,
Simeon.
yeah, that Simeon was with them, because when you look at the map that they gave you, they say that it's Simeon is right in the vicinity, right in
Yeah.
the area of Judah, surrounded totally by Judah. So, so we have Judah, we have Benjamin, possibly Simeon, and we have the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah. These were Israelites from the different tribes who lived in the different places.
Sister Mercer, could you mute your phone, please?
All
A
right,
question.
all right, continue.
Queenie has a question, Brother Brian.
Yes. All
Go
right.
ahead, Queenie.
So Solomon is the son of David, right?
Yeah.
And after David died, Solomon ruled over Israel. But
Uh-huh.
He went into idolatry, and because of that, the Most High caused the kingdom of Israel to split.
Yeah.
All right. Jeroboam is Solomon's son, or it's
No.
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam.
All right. So he was in charge of the house of Judah.
Rehoboam.
Right. Who is Jeroboam?
Actually, who is who?
Jeroboam?
Jeroboam is the son of Nebat.
Who is Nebat?
I don't know the origin. I didn't go into the origin of that. I didn't go into all of that. But Jeroboam was from I think he was from the tribe of Benjamin, I think. No, or Ephraim. I'm not sure.
So they were all a part of Israel.
Yeah, they were Israelites.
Okay, I want to get that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right, continue.
Okay, where are we? 23 or 24?
23. 23 now will tell you exactly what comprised the house of Judah, or the southern tribe. And remember, it says the house of Judah, but one tribe only. Let's see the one tribe only. Go read 23.
Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, okay, so all right here, Brother Brian, is all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and then the remnant, the other few people, right?
All right. Yeah, the remnant of the other tribes. So this is what made up the southern tribe. This is the one tribe only. So this is why we cannot speak all is all. And this is why when it comes to the Gentiles as well, we cannot negate or reject the Gentiles. Because it's the same way you'll have Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people in the future will be the Gentiles who add themselves unto Israel. Cannot reject them. Continue.
Thus saith Yahuwah, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of Yahuwah, and returned to depart, according to the word of Yahuwah.
All right, but Jeroboam, no. He didn't behave himself at all. Verse 25.
Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel.
Continue.
And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
All right, so Jeroboam was saying no. All right, it's time to do sacrifice unto Yahuwah. If these people go down to Jerusalem, Rehoboam is going to convince them to make it into one kingdom. Verse 27.
If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of his people turn again unto their master, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah.
Continue.
Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem.
Continue. We cut off, Daniel. Oh boy.
Sorry.
You're still on, you know.
Sorry about that.
I'm still on. All right, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. Where was I? 28?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
All right, so made these two calves, one in Bethel and the other in Gilgal, I think. And said, these are your gods that brought you out of the house of Egypt. Yep,
So
out of the land of
Jeroboam,
Egypt.
so Jeroboam didn't want the two kingdoms to go back as one. He wanted to be a ruler instead of Rehoboam.
Not only that, he feared for his life, because if the
Yeah.
children of Israel turned against him, they would kill him.
They'll kill him.
Okay.
So he did it to protect himself and to protect his kingdom. Verse 29.
And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan.
Continue.
And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan.
Continue.
And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. That's what I was like.
Continue. Made abominable people to be priests. Continue.
And Jeroboam ordered a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. Excuse me. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made.
All right, this is a similitude of Christianity. You know, Christianity is a faith that is mocking the faith of the true believers in Scripture. All right, they come and make a similitude, something different, but it has elements of the same. Continue. And so he offered 33.
And so he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart. And
Okay,
ordained.
hold on there. Remember, we're just speaking about Christianity. Days
Yeah.
that they have devised in their own hearts, that is what they dedicate unto Yahuwah. All right, you see the similarities?
Yes.
Continue. And
Brother
ordained.
Brad, can I say something?
Yes, yes.
But do you realize that that was the time of a feast? And so that was a real abomination unto Yah. The 15th,
yes.
it was Sukkot,
Yes.
tabernacle.
Tabernacles.
Yeah, so that was a real abomination unto the Father.
Yeah.
Mm.
Continue.
Good pointing
Continue.
out, Sister Mercy.
Thank you, Marcia.
You're welcome.
And ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense.
All right. So for all of that, do we think the Most High will be pleased?
No.
No way.
Only the
So he said-
Levites are supposed to burn incense.
Yes. So he sent Ahia again. He sent Ahia again unto Jeroboam's wife this time to tell her, Tanya, turn that down or something. Take out the volume. To tell her what should come. 1 Kings 14:14.
Where did we stop right there? 37 before?
We ended it. Verse 13. 1 Kings 14:13.
And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found some good thing toward Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam.
All right, this was the thing. I cut it short because we have so much to read. The Most High proclaimed that he that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for Yahuwah had spoken it. And he says, out of Jeroboam's house, the children shall die. And he made an exception that only one of Jeroboam's children shall not perish in this way because he found some good in him. Verse 14.
Moreover, Yahuwah shall raise him up a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now?
Bernie, your picture that you're up there, I only seeing one eye.
Oh, I got this magnifying thing. See?
Oh,
I got
okay, well-
that's how I get to read.
it's only showing one eye. You know that one eye is a sign for those people.
Oh, I didn't see that. Hold on. Okay. Better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Cut off the house of Jeroboam in that day. Verse 15.
For Yahuwah shall smite Israel as a reed is shaking in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land, which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves, provoking Yahuwah to anger.
So this was the preparation now, the prophecies of Israel now being scattered. And Israel has been scattered from that time unto this very day. Continue.
And he shall give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who did sin and who made Israel to sin.
All right. So you see, he shall give Israel up because of the sins of one man. One man, the entire house of Israel. What a burden Jeroboam has to face. Israel has been in exile for hundreds of years. 2,700 years or thereabout. Because of the sins of one man, Jeroboam, who caused Israel to sin. But before that, there was constant war between Israel and Judah. They were brothers, but they were always at war. Verse 30, read.
And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days.
All right. Enmity between them all their days. 1 Kings 15, verse 9. Read, please.
1 Kings 15, verse 9.
No. Hold on. No. 2 Kings 13, 22. But Yahuwah was patient with Israel, regardless of their sins. And this is why when Yahuwah finally makes his move, none of us can say he is unrighteous, because regardless of what Israel did, Yahuwah was still patient with them, even in their sins before they were banished. 22, read please.
But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. Continue.
Verse 2. Yeah, continue.
And Yahuwah was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet.
All right, so as we said, we keep hearing about this covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that is what the Bible is about, and this is what will go to the very end. All right? So he had mercy on them whenever he remembered Abraham. And I remember even in the book of Joshua, when Zepho, the Edomite, when he was in trouble, and he was fighting the Africans, and he was in trouble, he called upon Yahuwah, and he reminded Yahuwah, for Abraham's sake, do it for Abraham's sake. And Yahuwah heard Zepho for the sake of Abraham and delivered Zepho out of the hand of the Africans. And so, yeah, this is the importance of the covenant and how the Most High had patience on them. But the Most High prophesied in Hosea 1 what he would do to Israel. Because remember, the word says Yahuwah does nothing unless he first, let's go to Amos 3:7.
Yep.
Surely, Amos 3:7, read please.
Surely Yahuwah Elohim will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
All right, so Yahuwah will do nothing, but he first reveals it to his prophets. Remember when he was going to deal with Jeroboam, he sent it through Ahijah. When he was going to deliver the kingdom to Jeroboam, he sent it through Ahijah. So this banishment of Israel, he sent it through Hosea. Read Hosea 1, please.
Hosea 1, the beginning, the word of Yahuwah. Okay, can you bring it down just a little? I can't see it. The live on YouTube is blocking it.
The word of Yahuwah that came unto Hosea, the son of Beeri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. Verse 2.
The beginning of the word of the Most High by Hosea. And Yahuwah said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom. Depart from Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son.
All right, so he told Hosea to go and take a wife of whoredoms. This what now was a similitude of what Israel was doing to him, Yahuwah. So he wanted Hosea to play it out, to show him exactly what he was going to do to Israel. Verse 3.
So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son.
And Yahuwah said,
And Yahuwah said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel.
all right, this is a prophecy. Will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it has ceased from he executed it unto this day. Verse 5.
And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel.
Verse 6.
And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And Yahuwah said unto him, Call her name Lahuromah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away.
All right, so all of his patience has worn out. Verse 7.
But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by Yahuwah their Elohim, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horse, nor by horsemen.
All right, so this is it. He will have mercy upon Judah, but Israel will be taken away. And this is why the reason he had to have mercy upon Judah, because of course, the most important person in the world had to come through Judah, right?
Yes. David,
So
yes.
So that is why Judah was allowed to exist until the Messiah And actually up to about 70 years after the Messiah, Judah was allowed to exist.
Eight.
Verse 8.
Now when she had weaned Lahorama, she conceived and bare a son.
Continue.
Then said Yahuwah, call his name Loami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your Elohim.
All right. Not my people. And this is famously matched in the book of Romans. Continue.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living Elohim.
All right. So this was speaking of the end times. All right. In the place where it was said, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living Elohim. So in the place when Israel is gathered back, that's when he's going to declare them to be the sons of Yahuwah. Verse 11.
Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together.
Stop.
And appoint.
Stop. As we were saying, this is what the Bible is all about. The gathering together of the two sticks, the house of Judah and the house of Israel. The southern kingdom of Judah, the northern kingdom of Israel, once again will be rejoined in the end. This is a prophecy. This is what it means in the book of Romans. All right? Read it again. Hosea 11.
Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head.
Oh, one head. Who is that one head?
David.
But he's going to be manifested in the Messiah.
Yahusha.
Brother Brian, isn't that
Yes.
the same thing in Ezekiel? The two tribes coming back together?
You're going too far. You're going ahead of me.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
Yeah, you're going ahead. You're too
Sorry.
too bright. You're too bright.
Sorry.
Yeah. And
No,
shall appoint
bright as
themselves.
in, by the way, in case anybody looking bright, don't mean like you getting fresh, meaning it means you're too smart.
Oh, okay.
I'm not smart.
All right. So, and they shall come out of the land.
And they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel.
Yeah, you have to set yourself where you can get it. One thing, man. Yeah. All right. So after saying that, just remember this Hosea 1, because we're going back to it to match it up with what is going to be manifested in the end. So after saying all that, Israel finally exiled. 2 Kings 17 verse 6. 2 Kings 17 verse 6. Bye-bye, Northern Kingdom. Bye-bye, Israel. Read, please.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in the harbor by the river Gozan and in the cities of the Medes.
So Israel finally banished. This was the end of the Northern Kingdom. Let's see again. We have to emphasize that they were exiled because of idolatry. Verse 7.
For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahuwah their Elohim which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods,
Verse 8.
and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom
All right, stop there,
Yahuwah-
stop there. Stop there. This is what we are telling the Gentiles and our Israelite brothers who are in Christianity. Christianity is based on the statutes of the heathen. So many things from Christianity, almost everything from Christianity is from the statutes of the heathen, but it is mirrored to look like it is the truth. All right? Our people were banished from walking in the statutes of the heathen. Read verse 8 again.
and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahuwah cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made.
Continue.
And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Most High, their
Secretly.
Elohim,
Secretly. Continue.
that were not right against Yahuwah their Elohim. They built their high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city.
All right. They did all sort of abomination.
When it says they did it
Um,
secretly, Brother Brian, what do they mean?
They built high places in all their cities from the tower. I guess they pretended to worship Yahuwah.
A form of godliness, but denying the
Yeah.
power thereof.
Yes, they pretended. And this also is masked in their religion, because remember, it started from Jeroboam. When Jeroboam set up the calves, what did he say? These are your gods that brought you up out of Egypt.
Mm-mm.
So in other words, he set up the fake thing, and this is what they're doing. They set up the fake things and are saying that this is the worship of Yahuwah. Continue. Where are we?
Where am I?
Go to
Yeah.
12, because there's so
Okay.
much.
Okay. For they served idols. Wherefore Yahuwah hath said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing.
Verse 13.
Yet Yahuwah testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants, the prophets.
Isn't this what we are doing today? Isn't this what we're doing today? This is what we're doing today. This is what the Hebrew Israelites are on the streets telling the people to do today. And yet, they and us, we are largely rejected. Verse 14.
Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the necks of their fathers, that did not believe Yahuwah their Elohim.
That not believe in Yahuwah.
In Yahuwah their Elohim, yeah.
Verse 15.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them, that they should not do like them.
Nothing has changed. This is the same thing that is replicating itself today. Our people in Christianity reject his statutes and his covenants that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them, and follow after vanity, prosperity doctrine, all about vanity, and went after the heathen that were round about them, the Edomites, who gave them Christianity. They prefer to go after what the heathens gave them, rather than to go back to the inheritance that the Most High had given them. Verse 16.
And they left all the commandments of Yahuwah their Elohim, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal.
All right, this is what you are doing today. Baal is the Lord. And they served all the host of heaven, including Jupiter. All right?
When it says hosts of heaven, Brother Brian, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
Sun, the moon, and the stars. All of them. So they serve the sun god, sun worship. They serve the moon god worship. And they serve the stars, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus.
Is it the
All of
reason
those
why?
are worship. Go ahead.
Is it the reason why the image they gave to us has a calf
Halo.
next?
Has a what?
Has the lamb next to it?
Has the what?
The lamb.
Lamb.
The lamb.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Jesus picture with the lamb.
Oh, the lamb is from some pagan thing. Esus Christus, the worship of Esus Christus had a lamb in it as well. Don't really understand the full depth of that. Had I known the question, I would have prepared it. But the lamb has something to do with their pagan worship,
Oh, okay.
right?
But the halo is the sun, right?
The halo is the sun. And of course, Yahweh is Jupiter. Never forget that.
Yeah,
Nothing
always
has
do.
changed. Verse 17.
And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah, to provoke him to anger.
Therefore, 18.
Therefore, Yahuwah was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
Okay, you see this again? The tribe of Judah only. Hey, we saw that it was the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, and other tribes mixed in with them. Verse 19.
Also, Judah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah their Elohim, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made.
Verse 20.
And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of
Before we move on,
Israel.
Mr. Bernie,
Huh?
before we move on, you can explain that, Brother Brian?
What?
19. But walk in the statutes of Israel. How
Which they
kept the-
made.
Which is
What?
what now?
The statutes of Israel was the thing that they made up, the worship that they made up. Remember? They had their own worship days, and they worshiped the gods that they wanted to worship.
Which they made.
Which they made, Israel made, not what Yahuwah made.
Okay.
Yeah. So they followed in the false worship of Israel. Continue. And Yahuwah rejected.
And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. What are spoilers?
21.
What are spoilers, Brother Brian?
Spoilers are the afflictors, the oppressors. Like
Okay.
those people who brought us into slavery. Those people who went and captured us and brought us into slavery. 21.
For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following Yahuwah, and made them sin a great sin.
Continue.
That's idolatry, right? A great sin is idolatry.
Yeah. Go
So when
ahead.
he says rent, who
Sure.
rented
In two.
Israel?
Huh?
Two in two.
Tour. Yahuwah tore Israel from the
Oh,
house of
okay.
David.
Okay.
22.
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them.
And this is why they deserve it. They didn't even say, okay, I'm not going to follow Jeroboam. I'm going to walk in the way of Yahuwah. They
Exactly. I was
followed-
wondering if they are that dumb, quote unquote, per se. If they
Hey,
would
we
like-
do it too.
Yeah. but I believe that they had known more than us.
Yep.
So I think they should have rebelled against it or something, or is trying not to take part into what Jeroboam was giving them into.
All right. But I gotta say something. Read 23. Read 23, Bernie.
Until Yahuwah removed Israel out of his sight, and he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their land to Assyria unto this day.
All right. Unto this day, unto this very day, they have been brought out and have not yet been gathered. All right. So as you were saying here, they departed. What were you saying here again? Oh, I was going to point out to you that it might sound strange to us that these people are always going after these idols, but Yahuwah has given these idols power to those who want to go after them. Might sound funny, but when they go after these idols, there is certain rewards that you get that you don't easily get with Yahuwah, because let me tell you something else.
That's true.
These idols, you get quick fix.
Yes.
You get quick fixes from them. But with Yahuwah, you have to be patient.
Yes.
So the devil through these idols, through these devils, will quickly give you what you want. So that is why a lot of people go into idolatry, and which is why idolatry pays, and which is why some of the richest nations in the earth are the idolatrous nations, and they prosper. All right? Read Jeremiah 44:17.
Okay. But we will certainly do.
16, please.
As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of Yahuwah, we will not hearken unto thee.
This was Judah responding to Jeremiah. Jeremiah came with a message from them to stop serving other gods. And this is them flatly rejecting Jeremiah here.
Ooh,
They
they're
will-
bold-faced.
Verse 17.
They're bright.
Yeah, verse 17.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offering unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For
Hear this
them,
now.
for
Hear this
them
now.
had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil.
You see that? When they continue worshiping their Ishtar, their Easter, Queen of Heaven, when they are celebrating their Easter, their lives are okay. All right? They were well nice.
That's why it's so hard to come out of Christianity for a lot of people.
Yes. Exactly. Which is why you cannot go after your feelings. You have to go after truth.
Yes.
It's only truth that will wrestle you out. So they are okay and well taken care of, worshiping Ishtar, keeping
Brother
their
Brian.
Christmas. Yes, go ahead.
That's why it's going to be so difficult for a lot of people who not to take the mark, whatever the
Yes.
mark is.
Yep. If they have the prosperity mindset, and if they have the Christian mindset of things, and blessings, dealing with materialism, then it's going to
So-
be very hard for us to reject.
So the plenty of victuals means that what? Plenty of provision, food,
Yes.
clothes.
Yes. Victuals, I think victuals has to do with food, I think. So it would actually mean provision. Let me see. Plenty of victuals, bread or grain, food, fruit, loaf, meat. So it's actually food provisions. So they were well provided for when as by burning incense unto Ishtar, Queen of Heaven. But when they are worshiping Yahuwah, verse 18,
But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offering unto her, we have wanted all things, and to have been consumed by the sword and by the famine.
all right. So when they left off from worshiping, then they are in the hands of Yahuwah. And in the hands of Yahuwah, you are going to want, he's going to hand feed you because you have to learn to be
Mhm.
satisfied and all sort of things you need to learn. You have been consumed by the sword and by the famine because the Most High put sword and famine on them when they transgress his laws. So they find easy rest in just switching over and say, you know what, I'm going to worship these devils. And Yahuwah gives you a strong delusion if you want to believe a lie and not believe his truth. So he gives them a strong delusion and lets everything prosperous in the hand of the false gods. You
Yeah,
understand?
Brian.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at just now. We're looking at the symbols of Ishtar.
Of what?
Of Ishtar, the Easter celebration.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's the Easter bunny, is the egg and the Easter bunny. And the bunny obviously is part of the Levitical, the dietary, in the dietary thing, it's one of the forbidden foods or animals to eat meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they would represent fertility.
Yeah, it's a fertility thing, the egg and the bunny. Because they say the rabbit is one of the most fertile, what do you call it? One of the most virile animals. I'll explain to you when I'm finished. All right, don't want to the track though and go into that. Want to stay on track, all right? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we're going to Romans now to see the fulfillment of the house of Israel. Romans 9. The fulfillment of the house of Israel coming back together. Because we're saying, for those who joined late, that this is what the Bible is about. The two sticks joining together. This is what the Bible will play out in the end. Christianity does not teach this. Let's go, verse 11.
For the children, being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahuwah according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth.
All right, so this is talking about Jacob and Esau, verse 12.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is
All right.
written,
Yep.
Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
All right. Go to, this is speaking of the election. Loving Jacob and hating Esau. But let's go to 25.
And he saith,
No, let me see where it should go. Go. He said also in Osee.
and he said also in Osee, I will
Hosea.
call them my Hosea.
No,
Oh,
it's Osee. It's Osee, but I was just saying that this is the same as Hosea that we read a little while back. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved.
So this is showing us that the same thing is going to be manifested in our end time. This was the Apostle Shaul speaking. Verse 26.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Elohim.
27.
Esaias also cries unto Israel, Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.
A remnant, always a remnant shall be saved. And so when we see all Israel, and so all Israel shall be saved, it is a remnant of the whole 12 tribes, all 12 tribes. Right, Bernie?
Yes.
Verse 28.
For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will Yahuwah make upon the earth.
Go to verse 30.
Brother Brian, go back right there. Go back up. When he says a short work shall Yahuwah make upon the earth, what do you mean?
From the time of the apostles, the Most High has put something in all believers to expect his coming to be imminent. So he was saying that the Most High will make a short work, a relatively short work in his execution. But that short work now is still over 2,000 years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
it's
that
like
makes-
it's like an expectancy he puts in us.
Yes. To
Okay.
always be waiting, always. Because if you didn't put that expectancy in us, each of us would just come in and say, okay, continue my life. I don't care. But he puts this in us to us always to be on the alert, always to be ready.
Yeah, I
Verse-
think one of the apostles had mentioned that. But okay.
Yeah.
All right, so verse 29. And as
No.
Esaias
No, go to 30 because I'm trying to
Okay.
have so much. Go to 30.
What shall we say then? That the Gentiles which followed not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith?
All right. So this Gentiles here is speaking about the what do you call them? The heathen. All right. The heathen, and also it's speaking of those Hellenized Israelites, those Israelites who were scattered and who had become one with the Gentiles. So it's a general term here for everybody else who are not walking in obedience to Torah. Continue.
But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness,
Oh, stop
hath
there
not-
now. Stop there. So this was speaking about those the Judah who were still following after the Torah. So it is those who were not following Torah, including Israelites who were Gentiles, and it is Israel now who are Judah who were following after the Torah. So read 31 again.
But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not attained to the law of righteousness.
Continue.
Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, for they stumbled at the stumbling stone.
All right. So we need prophecies of the Gentiles because we're looking at the coming together of the two sticks. All right. So we have one stick over here and we have one stick here. The Israel that followed after Torah, which would be the Judah at the time. And then we have the Israel who had gone into captivity and had become Gentiles, and we also have the Gentiles who had nothing to do with Israel over here. So let's look
Brother
at
Brian,
prophecy. Yeah, go ahead.
for they stumbled at that stumbling stone. That stumbling stone is Yahusha?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And verse 33 tells us, as it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone and rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. That is Yahushua HaMashiach.
Hallelujah.
All right, so let's look at the prophecy for the Gentiles and Israel. Isaiah 49, verse 6. Because I must confess, in our zeal for our people, we often left out and minimize the salvation that has come to Gentiles, non-Israelite Gentiles. All right. Verse 6, read please.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribe of Jacob.
Hey,
And
stop. Stop. This was speaking, prophesying of the Messiah, to raise up the tribes of Jacob. All right? Whole 12 tribes. And to restore.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
All right, these are those who had gone into exile, the preserved, who had preserved them, the remnant, right? Continue.
Okay. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
So we have Israel here, wrapped up in a little package over here. Separate from the Gentiles. A light to the Gentiles. So his salvation shall be unto the ends of the earth. So these Gentiles partake in our salvation. Acts 26, 22 to 23. Can't leave out the Gentiles. Because
I mean, who's gonna serve us?
yeah. And you know, maybe some of them will not be in servitude either.
Oh, really?
I'm getting into some deeper revelations, but just dropping that. I'm just dropping that until I can get the fullness, and maybe I'll present it.
Wow.
Yeah. Verse 22, read it, please.
Having therefore obtained help of Yahuwah, I continue unto this day, witnessing both to small and great, saying none other things than those which the prophets and Moses did say should come.
Continue.
That Hamashiach should suffer, and that he should be the first that should rise from the dead, and should show light unto the people and to the Gentiles.
So we see the salvation is for unto the people who are the Israelites and to the Gentiles. Right?
Question.
So, yeah, go ahead.
All these Gentiles that we keep hearing, is that referring to the heathen?
Sometimes
Go ahead.
sometimes to the heathen and sometimes to the
Not,
children of
not
Israel.
Tribe, right? Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
sometimes it is really that, and that is why it takes us such deep study, because it can mean the nations, all the other nations. It can mean heathen, that are those who rebel, who are totally against Yahuwah.
Right.
It can mean Israelites who have been Hellenized and gone into the other nations and become one with the other nations. So it is difficult, very difficult at times to pick up exactly the context. And we know that you call these people Hellenes. and we say they are Hellenized, and Hellen comes from Greek. And this is because Judah, from the time of Judas Maccabeus, the children of Judah had become Hellenized, had become one with the Greeks. We find that in First Maccabees. Can I ask someone to monitor the chat, please? Because people are asking questions in the chat, but because I cannot concentrate on so many different things, you know, so if someone can just monitor the chat and then ask the questions at the opportune times, then that would be good. All right, so let's go to First Maccabees.
So hold on, Brother Brian. So this is why
Yeah.
it's so confusing for people when they read the book, Shaul's books, because they
Yes.
cannot differentiate what is the Gentiles and who are the Israelites and who are the heathen.
Yes. Yep. All right. Maccabees, read verse 41, please.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
All right. This was when the Greeks were ruling, when they had the Greek kingdom before the Romans, before the Roman kingdom, the great Greek kingdom led by King Antiochus Epiphanes II. Israel was part of his kingdom, or Judah at the time it was part of his kingdom. Verse 42.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king.
Yep. Continue.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
This is Hellenization. All right. The Greeks are the Hellenes. And this, that the children of Israel did, Hellenization. They took up the customs of the Greeks, and they also went and lived in the cities of the Greeks. Verse 44.
For the king had sent letters for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
So he sent messengers dictating what they should follow. And this, of course, opposes the laws of Yahuwah. Verse 45.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. Brother Brian, this is something that we're going through now.
Yeah, of course. This is the same thing. Nothing different. Same Hellenization. They forbid everything to do with Yahuwah in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. That is why you hear no Sabbath, no more Sabbath. Sabbath is done away. That is Old Testament. Sunday is our Sabbath. Jesus is my rest. No feasts. The feasts are for Israel. Those are old feasts that are done away with. Right? Now, this is why they take out these books out of the Bible, because you're going to see the same thing that they are doing now in Christianity. You're going to see it manifested here. Verse 46.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
All right. How you pollute them? You pollute them by making them eat all sorts of strange foods. You pollute them by giving them false dress laws, dress codes. You pollute them by telling them the men that they have to be shaved clean. You pollute the holy people. Whatever Yahuwah dictates that is holy unto his people, they reject it. 47.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
You ever wonder why Christians love swine so much? And why they love unclean food? Even when you tell them, I put a picture up on my Facebook with a picture of a, what is it? Some kind of animal, land animal, and a lobster. One that looked like a lobster. And it was the same, one on land and one in the sea. And the comments were, I am gonna eat it just the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So verse 48.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanity. And
Everything that is against
profanation.
everything that is against Yahuwah, that is what they do. Verse 49, and this is it. Verse 49. Hello? You're off, Tana? To the end, they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. So this is what it's all about. For us to forget the law and to change all the ordinances, to follow the ordinances of the people. And this is what is happening today. This is Christianity today. The whole aim of Christianity for us to forget the law and change all the ordinances. You see that? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. It's exactly it. To forget the laws.
Right.
Brother B.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, brother Wayne.
Yeah, there is yes, there's also a section, I don't recall where it is, but because you're talking now, it came back to me. A section in the Bible said, man disobey his law and obeys man's law. So
Yes.
it is so clear that they're actually doing it. You know, the law that man forth, they hold on so to, and they disobey his law.
Yes. And that is what he hates. All right?
And we justify it by saying we're on the grace, not on the law.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. That is it. So remember what we are looking at today. We are looking at what the Bible is all about, the joining together of the two sticks of the whole house of Israel. This is what the end times is manifesting today. The children of Israel, Bernie, drop off. It is the coming together of the entire whole house of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, who are scattered all over the earth. And of course, along with the Gentiles who join themselves to Israel. And of course, I think we're going to look at what it means to join yourself to Israel.
Sorry, my phone had died.
Yep. So we go to what Marcia was talking about now, Ezekiel 37, verse 15. We're going to look at the prophecy, joining together the two sticks. What will happen in the end? Read, please.
The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Okay. Let's look at this now. Two sticks. Take the one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. This is the house of Judah, right? And for the children of Israel who are sojourning there, the Benjamins and the other houses that were with them, right?
Right.
Then take another stick for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. This is the northern tribes. the house of Israel that has been in exile since 723 BC, when they went into exile to the Assyrians. This is for Judah that went into captivity 70 AD. Who were persecuted 70 AD, rather, and actually went into full captivity in 1490 something. No, was it? No, it was 1619. Signaled the 400 years of their captivity through the slave trade. All right. And subsequently after that, they have been persecuted forever since. But this house of Israel have been persecuted for many years before Judah has been persecuted. What the Bible recorded was mainly the house of Judah, because after they went into captivity, the Bible did not mention them much. But there are other books that mention them and indicate that they are over in Africa, and they are also over this side of the world in North and South America. And the book of Second Esdras, I think, chronicled when they took a 3-year journey to get them to a land where they could serve Yahuwah. So his people are scattered to the four corners of the earth, all over. And there are some people that are saying, no, Israelites are over here in the West. Well, he said the four corners of the earth. So why would he have the great North and South America and no Israelites there? But Israelites are cooped up over there in maybe what they call Middle East and Africa. No, they're all over.
Yep.
And the tradition of the North American Indians, the traditions, and a lot of even their language go back to ancient Hebrew. Remember watching those cowboy and Indian movies and saw those Indians in their fringes?
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Where do we think those fringes came from? Those fringes identify with the children of Israel.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Brother
yeah,
Brian.
go ahead. Yeah.
Sister Maya, are you there? Sister
Hello?
Maya, are you
Yes,
there?
yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Can you, I honestly, I want to do this, but I feel like I'm fasting, so I got to get something to eat because it's the
Okay.
Sabbath. So can you read for me until I get back?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Where should I start?
But Mayo is going to read the Lord and all of that. She doesn't know the name.
You don't know, Brother
The
Brian.
names, right?
You never can tell.
Huh?
I'll
No.
read it slowly so that I remember.
All right. It's not never can tell. She has to learn first. Anyway.
Brother Brian,
Yes.
can I say something?
Yes.
If you can look for documentaries on Costa Rica, Colombia,
Yes.
Argentina, Brazil, especially Brazil, and there's a lot of our people in these areas. Remember, it was just the Americas. It wasn't the northern, the southern, and this America where we are. It was the Americas where they were scattered, and where Mexico was the capital of all. So all these places there, our people are there.
Yes.
They are suffering just like how we are suffering. You can tell.
Yes. And Brazil has it double because the indigenous Indians there, some of them are our people, and then you have the descendants of slaves there who are also our people. So they have it double, and they really feel it at the hands of the Edomites. I thought America was bad, but Brazil, hey.
Yeah, it's terrible in Brazil. Terrible. Yeah.
Our people are all over.
Brother Brian, is Peru one of the places too? Because I was doing some research a couple of years ago and was learning that there is some rich, what should I call it, evidence for something that links with Israel in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our people are all over.
Everywhere.
All over. Sis Deborah was saying something.
And I noticed there was an article also regarding inscriptions of rocks that were
Yes.
near New Mexico in Albuquerque, and they were saying
Yes.
that could the Hebrews have discovered America because
Yeah.
of these rocks that they found with the Hebrew, ancient Hebrew.
Yes, and that would
So
match
yeah,
with the-
we're everywhere.
Yep. And that would match with the second Ezra that said that our people were seeking a land where nobody was so that they could worship Yahuwah in peace.
Yeah.
And they took this 3-year journey to go there. That would match with it. Yeah.
Okay.
And all right. So read over 16, please. Moreover.
Thou son of man, take thee one stick. Take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Next, 17.
And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand.
All right. This is it. The joining together of the two sticks. This is what everything is all about in the end time, to join together the two sticks, the whole house of Israel. So when all of us come together, then we are one nation and we are going to be under one shepherd. Verse 18.
And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them.
Go ahead.
Say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah, your Elohim, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
This is what it's all about. This is the aim, the end time aim of the Most High. Everything is based on this, fulfilling his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by bringing back the two wayward children of Judah. And he's going to do this through his children, through a righteous remnant. And so this is why the children, the remnant of Israel has to be righteous in the Messiah. Because those people who he's going to bring together must not be a rebellious people. It must not be a people who are rebellious so that as to go back to where it was before. It is a people that who are obedient to him and who have shown that they have the will and the desire to walk in his statutes and his commandments. These are the people who he will be bringing back together. It will not be everybody. All right? There will be a wilderness experience, yes, where his mercy will allow others to come into the wilderness. But in the wilderness, there be a separation again of the righteous from the unrighteous. Continue.
And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes.
Yep.
And say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land.
So you see, this is what it's about. Returning Israel back to their own land, gathering them together, the remnant, all 12 tribes, bringing them back again together to restore them, fulfilling his prophecy to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. 22.
And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall
Go ahead.
They shall no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all.
Unity. Verse
Mm.
23.
Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their Elohim.
So you see why it is not easy to serve Yahuwah? It is a process of cleansing us, of getting us ready to bring us back in. And when he's bringing us back in, we will not be idolatrous, all right? And we will be cleansed. So in order to do that, we have to go through some seriously rough things. It's not a stroll in the park. Those who are going through a stroll in the park, they are following the wrong Elohim. They are not following Yahuwah. Serving Yahuwah is not easy. Continue.
And David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them.
All right, you see them? They are going to be obedient. How can we ask the Christians to Christians, how can you be disobedient to his judgments and his statutes and expect to be in his kingdom? Verse 25.
Brian,
Yeah, go ahead.
first we gotta get them to accept that they're being disobedient.
Yes, that's it. Because they were tricked into thinking that their rebellion is obedience, which takes us back to 2 Thessalonians 9:11-12, or 8-12, which tells us that the deceivableness of unrighteousness. So unrighteousness has deceived them into thinking that it is righteousness. Right, Sister Bernie?
Right.
Yep. Verse 25, and they shall
dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever.
Continue.
Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore.
All right. Final covenant with them. Everlasting covenant with them. A final covenant. Verse 27.
Sorry, Brother Brian, just before I continue. So
yes.
I was reading stuff about the Abrahamic faith, the Abrahamic family, that where they're uniting Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And they called it a covenant. What the Pope was signing with Islam, he called it a covenant, and he was referring to peace. So as I'm reading this, I'm thinking how blasphemous, where they're even using the word covenant and peace.
Yes. Yes. A covenant of peace. Yes. So they are mimicking, as usual, they are mimicking what Yahuwah is doing and blaspheming at the same time.
Yeah.
And that is why I did an article entitled, you had something to say?
No. I was about to continue reading.
Okay. I have an article entitled, who's an Hebrew or something like that. Who are the Hebrews? And so it is very important that we know that even though we are the descendants of Abraham, we are not all the same. So if we had known that, then we would not have gone into that agreement, because we would have known that the Most High chose a seed of Abraham, and that seed is Isaac, and another seed, Jacob. And so the Hebrews are the children of Israel. There's no other nation. The Ishmaelites are not Hebrews. The Edomites are not Hebrews. So they can go and do their thing, We are set apart. We are sufficient in ourselves. We are the Hebrews. We are not one
Brother
family.
Brian, El Pedro
Yes?
is trying to get on.
I'm finished. I'm
He's
finished.
on?
Yeah, Imani. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
finished. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. My tabernacle also.
My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahuwah, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore.
All right. The gathering together of Israel. This is what the book is about. You know, and they focus it on everything about the Jesus Christ is gonna come for Christians and rapture them away and everything. There's no reason, no reason is given for anything at all. No reason, no basis. There's no understanding whatsoever as what is going on. When you get an understanding of this, then everything in the Bible will come easily because everything will start to fit in when you have an idea of the big picture. This is a big picture. Verse 1 to 4. Verse 1, please.
It's not on my screen. If you could please, okay, now it is. Okay.
Yeah.
At the same time, saith Yahuwah, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people.
All
Thus
right.
saith-
So all Israel shall be saved. I will be Elohim of all the families. Who are all the families of Israel?
12 tribes.
Thank you very much, Mercia. This is the joining together of the 12 tribes. Again, verse 2.
Thus saith Yahuwah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest.
Verse 3.
The Yahuwah hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee.
Verse 4.
Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built. O Virgin of Israel, thou shalt again be adorned with my tabrets, and shalt go forth in the dances of them that make merry.
So this is the promise once again of Israel joining Israel back together. Verse 10.
Hear the word of Yahuwah, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock.
All right, so this is it. Just want us to get it plainly in our ears that it is a rejoining of scattered Israel, the scattered tribes of Israel. 11.
For Yahuwah hath redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he.
All right, verse 16.
Thus saith Yahuwah, refrain thy voice from weeping and thine eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded, saith Yahuwah, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. And there is hope in thine end, saith Yahuwah, that thy children shall come again to their own border.
Continue.
I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus, Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art Yahuwah, my Elohim. Surely,
So who is Ephraim?
The same northern tribe.
All right. You, Mercia, you're disqualified from answering.
Okay.
Verse 20. Verse 20.
Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith Yahuwah.
All right,
Set-
so that's it. So this is it. Have mercy upon Ephraim. Since he banished him, he still remembered him. Will not forget him. All right? And because of that, the Most High now is going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. And that new covenant is through Yahusha. Verse 31.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant.
All right, hold
they-
on there. Hold on. Sorry, I was distracted. Tanya, go get some water for me. All right, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that you will make a new covenant with whom?
The house
The
of
house
Israel.
and with the
House of
House-
Judah.
so there's northern tribe, the 10 tribes, and this is Judah. Not according, continue.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahuwah. But this shall be the
Continue.
covenant. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahuwah.
Okay,
I
hold
will-
on there. You see the usage of the words now. That's why you have to be very careful with these words. He said he'll make a covenant with the house of Israel here and with the house of Judah. But then he says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. So it would sound as if Judah is excluded. You see that?
Yeah.
Mhm. There it is referring
the-
to every.
Yeah, but the house of Israel here can be used to refer to the entire whole house of Israel. You got it?
Includes, sorry,
Pardon?
does it include Judah then at the end times?
If it is what?
Does it include Judah in the end
All right.
times?
Yeah, in the end times, Israel will be the whole house of Israel, Judah
Okay.
and the rest of the tribes.
Hallelujah.
Continue. But this shall be the covenant.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
All right, so here's the thing now. Here's the things now. The Christians tell you that the law is done away with. We no longer have to obey the law because we are in the new covenant. This is the new covenant that he's going to make. The laws will be in our inward parts. It will not be done away, but it will be a part of our living. It will be a natural part of our living because we'll be led by the Spirit into obedience to his laws.
Hallelujah.
Laws will be in our inward parts. It's not banished, but it becomes a part of our nature. Just as the Messiah was a living, walking Torah, he walked and he manifested Torah. When we follow him, we also manifest Torah by doing what he did and obeying what he commanded. 34.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahuwah. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
All right. So on that day, we don't have to be teaching each other to know Yahuwah, but we have to be doing it at this time because this is one of the things that the Hebrew Israelites used to say, that we're not yet in the new covenant. But of course, we know that the Holy Spirit is a down payment on our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, Ephesians 1:14. So we have the down payment on the new covenant, which is the Messiah, but we will be brought into the bond of the covenant when the Messiah returns. So we are still in the new covenant, but we have not yet been brought into the bond of the covenant. And again, for reference, he used Deuteronomy 29. When the children of Israel, before they entered into the promised land, Moses made another covenant with them. And he said, not like the covenant that we made at Horeb, but this covenant that I'm making at Moab is before you enter into the land, to make sure that you do not transgress against me and think that it is okay. Likewise, when the Messiah returns, then we will be brought into the bond of the covenant again, and we will have to have a little amendment to the covenant before we actually enter into the kingdom. Got it? Everybody with me?
Yes.
All
Brother
right.
B, Brother Brian.
Yeah, yes.
Brother Brian.
Yes, sir.
The section you just made mention of when the time will come when the Most High will put his laws in our inward parts, right? So
Yes.
for those Christians who are saying the law is no longer is what the part they're missing out. I'm gonna give you an example. You see, like let's say a fruit cake have a bunch of ingredients, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to talk about the cake, we say cake, a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But the cake contains so much ingredients, fruits, raisins, rum, all those things. So those would be like a law, but we don't really talk about it one by one by one by one. It's all inward. Everything is in one.
Yep.
If you go and buy the cake, buy the law, same way.
Yep.
Yes, Ali.
Ezekiel 11:15-21. This is what the Bible is about, the gathering of Israel. They reject Israel and push it away, and they say Israel is another place made up of another people. All right? This is what it's about. Verse 14-15, read please.
Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel, holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from Yahweh, unto us is this land given in possession.
All right. So, the men of thy kindred and all the house of Israel holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from Yahuwah? Unto us is this land given. This sounds like squatters here, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's definitely.
Whoa. Yeah. As we say in Jamaica. Verse 16.
Therefore say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come.
All right, as he said, he never leave us nor forsake us. Even though in our punishment, he never leaves us nor forsake us. 17.
Therefore say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Can't say it enough. This is what the Bible is about. Everything that transpires in this world is based on this. This is why the people keep us in bondage in Christianity. They don't want us to know who we are, so that we turn back to Yahuwah, so that Yahuwah will gather us. All of their efforts are aimed at getting us away from what we see transpiring here. This new world order that they are saying is also to get us away from this. The mark of the beast is going to mar us, because they know in the book, it says, any man worship the beast and any man take the mark, Yahuwah is going to banish them. That is why they want us first. They want the African Americans first to take this and to take that. They try their best to mar us in every single way so that we don't turn back to the Father. They put abortion clinics in every corner. They put bars in every corner, bars where men go to drink, consume alcohol, and destroy their lives. They put churches on every corner of our of our neighborhoods in order to destroy us with their religion. Everything in scripture is about the gathering of his people. All right? Okay.
Reverend,
Are you with me? Yes.
you just made mention that even in our punishment, he did not leave us nor forsake us, right?
Yes.
So that is saying to me that our strength lies even in our punishment.
Exactly. Exactly. Because right now we are in punishment, you know, but the only thing is we have to turn to him. As he said, turn to me and I will turn to you.
And also that is why even the adversary, that which he have done or been doing to us, it is designed as a blessing for us, because when the adversary do what he does, it should lead us to the Most High, to depend
Yes.
on him for help. It is not through us to try and fight for ourselves when the enemy does stuff to us. So he was designed to be a blessing unto us if we understand the thing.
Yes, you're so right. But guess what a lot of us do? When the enemy starts to afflict us, then we start going into more evil to solve it.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to solve it by ourselves.
Exactly. And we forget that it is not by might, not by power. You know,
yes.
It is by the spirit. And you know, we can't use special fight and fight the spirit, you know.
Yep.
If I tell some people, they look at me crazy, like, what? You know, but it is really, in fact, because every single thing is still under the control of the Most High. Every one of those spirit, every demon, every spirit is still under his control, where he assigned them to do what he wants to accomplish his work.
Thank you very much. That is also true. So we have his system is one of everything being concentrated on his end time fulfillment of his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he uses the evil forces to achieve his good and his will. Turn the sound on that. Continue, please. Verse 18.
And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from thence.
Continue, verse 19.
And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and will give them an heart of flesh.
Verse 20.
That they may walk in my statutes and keep mine ordinances and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim.
All right. I want to repeat this process again. He is going to gather us, all right? But he's going to give us one heart. So we're going to have one spirit. And he's going to put a new spirit within us, away from our spirit. He will take the stony heart out of our flesh, so we will not be hard-headed, stiff-necked, and all of that again, and evil again, right? We will have a sensitive heart. A heart of flesh means one that has a sensitive conscience, knowing good from evil, and one that desires to do good and to reject evil. All right? That they may walk, and the whole reason for doing it, you see, this is it. I don't know why if the Christians read the Bible. The whole reason for doing all of this is for us to walk in obedience to him.
Yeah.
That they may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinances and do them.
Yeah.
And notice the colon after that. What the colon is saying, that if you walk in his statutes and you keep his ordinances and you do them, then you shall be his people and he will be your Elohim.
Hallelujah.
Simple process. Simple process. But hear this now, verse 21.
But as for them whose heart walketh after the heart of their detestable things and their abominations, I will recompense their way upon their own heads, saith Yahuwah Elohim.
So all of those who refuse Yahweh and refuse and continue to walk in the desires of their hearts and their abominations, they are going to be punished, right? And so that is why the Messiah said, not everybody will answer him. So what we need to know, not all Israel that are Israel, but the Messiah said in John 10:27, read please.
My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me.
So his sheep hear his voice. And those that hear his voice and follow him, what will he do in verse 28?
And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand.
All right, so that is it. His sheep hear his voice and they follow him. John 10:14-16. Read, please.
I am the good shepherd and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
All right, so other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, which is Judah. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. And this one fold, of course, now you're going to have Judah, house of Judah, plus the house of Israel, plus the Gentiles who want to join themselves unto them. Okay? John 11. Most High says, don't forget the Gentiles. John 11:49-52. Yes, go ahead.
I was thinking, so is one of the reasons why people love holding on to the new covenant teaching because it's easy? Because I'm thinking that as the more we read the Bible and we see the truth and we reference the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's so obvious what truth is. But even if you're to read this to somebody who's a Christian, they'll still come up with the argument of no, but this is the Old Covenant. So I'm thinking the Romans included, maybe it's one of the reasons as well that they included it, so that it shows you how hard it used to be. But now you have the grace and you have the New Testament, because the truth is so plain. It's so obvious.
Yes. That's it. And the reason they had to leave it in as well, Yahuwah had to leave it in as a witness to us. But they left it in and they said, oh, the God of the Old Testament, he's so angry. Welcome to the New Testament grace. Yeah, everything is so easy and so nice. Oh.
That's greasy grace.
Yeah. All right. So we have to look now. When we said, we are originally in John 10:16, we had said, there is one fold and other sheep I have that are not of this fold. So we're going to prove now what that fold encompasses. John 11:49.
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
All right, this whole nation here that he was speaking about was Judah. And we're going to see, he's not speaking of the entire Israel. He was speaking of Judah, because when he was speaking at the time, Judah had been exiled some 700, Israel, the house of Israel, the house of Ephraim had been exiled some 700 years before. So this whole nation is Judah. Continue, please.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahusha should die for that nation.
That nation of Judah. Verse 52.
and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Elohim that were scattered abroad.
All right. So who are the children of Israel that of Elohim were scattered abroad?
Ephraim.
Ephraim.
Yeah, this
Or the
house of
north.
Ephraim. All right.
And
James
not
1:1. We just want to show that the Bible is focused on these people. James 1:1 is focused on
Bernie, I
Israel.
hear your back. Are you
James
well,
1.
my sister? Are you well?
You're doing so well. I'm enjoying it.
You're doing
Yes,
well.
yes, and I love her voice.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
doing well.
your pronunciations of the word. Go ahead, sis.
Hey, this King James is not easy. Oh, it's not easy.
It's not easy, oh. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read, please.
James, a servant of Yahuwah and of Yahusha Meshiach, Hamashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
All right. So we see the book of James is addressed to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. It's not addressed to everybody. All right. It is for the 12 tribes who are scattered abroad. And this was one of the reasons I heard that the book of James, they considered to take it out of the Bible, as they did the book of Revelation as well. Book of Jude, a few books would not have been in the Bible because of the clear reference to Israel. And that is why Second Esdras, Baruch, all of those were taken out, because all of those books spoke directly to and of Israel. All right? So everything is addressed to Israel, but it has to go out to the world. So if the Gentiles hear and want to partake, then they have to join themselves unto Israel. All right? So that is the one fold. And of course, there's Ezekiel 34 that also speaks of, how long are we on now? I don't want to get too long. There's so much we can go into this.
And Brian.
Yes.
You put it on Joshua 1:1. You were talking about James 1:1.
Yeah, it's no, it's James. That's how they write it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how they write it. Ah. All right. How long have we been on? Ezekiel 34. Okay, maybe I don't want to go.
Brother Brian, before you go on that, before
yeah.
you finish, can you look at, before you finish, look at Romans 3:28 and 9 and 29.
Romans 3.
Yeah, verse 28 and 29. Yeah, it's where it was.
Read, please.
Therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law.
Continue.
Is he Elohim of the Jews only? Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also.
All right, let's go and look at the Gentiles. The word here for the Gentiles is ethnos, which means non-Israelites. So this is what we're saying, that there is also the Elohim of the Gentiles who join themselves unto Israel. Right, Bernie?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
is it
when
Elohim? Yeah, go ahead.
so it's when they join themselves to the house of Israel, that is when the Most High becomes their Elohim.
Yeah, verse 56, Isaiah 56. Let's go there. Isaiah 56, verse read verse 3, please.
Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree.
All right. Here's the thing for the Gentiles. Neither let the son of the stranger that has joined himself to Yahuwah. So the stranger who has joined himself unto Yahuwah cannot utterly separate himself from Yahuwah's people. Right? Are you seeing that?
Yeah, yeah.
They cannot utterly separate themselves from Yahuwah people. And here's what they have to do. Verse 6. Here's what they have to do. Read, please.
Verse 6. Also, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant.
Okay, hold on, please. So we see the condition here. First of all, they cannot utterly separate themselves from his people. Secondly, they have to take his covenant, his Sabbath, etc. Everything that has to do with his covenant, they have to take hold of his covenant. They cannot set up their churches. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Sunday church, with their own traditions, with their own everything, and say that they have joined themselves to his people. All right? They have to hold on to his Sabbaths and the rest of his covenants, and they have to join themselves to his people. And when that condition is met, what will happen in verse 7?
Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people.
All people includes the Gentiles. And they have to meet these conditions. It's not get up and
Brian,
say, yes, go ahead.
you know that people use that verse even now, not including the way that we're supposed to walk. They just say it's for all people, not
Yes.
saying that we're supposed to keep the commandments and follow Yasharal.
Yes.
People tell me that
Exactly.
all the time.
Yep.
Brother Brian, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. They exclude anything that goes against this comfortable, do what I want to do type of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing to make them accountable. Go ahead.
Go to verse 8.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Very good, Sister Bernie. I forgot this verse. Verse 8. Read, please.
Yahuwah your Elohim, which gathereth the outcasts of Israel, saith, Yet will I gather others to him, beside those that are gathered unto him.
All right. So when it's time for the gathering, the Gentiles also will be gathered with Israelites. All right.
He says the others.
Pardon?
No, I said it says the others, gathers the others.
Yeah, besides those that are gathered. So besides the children of Israel will be gathered in the end times, there will be gathered others with him. And these others, of course, as we said, will be those who keeps his Sabbath and takes hold of his covenant and who have not utterly separated themselves from his people. Yeah, go ahead, Samuel.
So I was just thinking. I was thinking that Well, Christianity, that's what the gentleman was saying. That
Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Wait, you can mute your mic, please. Yeah, go ahead, Samuel.
I'm saying from what we're reading now, I'm gathering that definitely the Gentiles have to cleave to the house of Israel.
Yeah.
But now Christianity has minused Israel and
Yes.
is only lingering onto the Messiah, which is the Jesus Christ they talk about.
Yes.
So that in itself, it's not helping, because then how are you going to find your way back to the truth when you are doing? It's like you take the people's food and disregard the people.
Yep. All right. Verse, we're gonna yeah. No, we're gonna go further into that again by reading verse 17, because we have to end on this note. Gathering of Israel, but the Gentiles will be gathered, but it's not just say you believe in Jesus Christ or whatever you say you do, and then you separate yourself from his people. You don't care about his people. You don't empathize with his people. You don't help to wake up his people. What you do, you try to ignore. You know who the true children of Israel are. You reject who they are. Instead of waking them up, you ignore it and continue in your way, preaching your whatever you want to preach. Yeah. You see them suffering, you don't help them.
They don't know the children, so how are they gonna follow their ways? Because they claim the Israelites are the people there. So we're looking at the wrong place. So how are we gonna do the right thing when we are looking at the wrong place?
That is it. You have to wake up and seek truth. This, what we are preaching of who the children of Israel are, this is preached all over the world now. And if, let me tell you something. You were saying something?
No, I was just saying that's right.
Yeah, but listen, yes. So let me tell you something. If they are hearing this, the Bible says, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. If they are hearing this and they had taken up their scriptures and start going into prophecy, then they would realize who the children of the book are. But what do? Most of them, they rubbish it off the bat and they don't want to hear anything about it without even trying to prove all things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to Romans 11:17, the grafting process. Go ahead.
And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them, and with them takest of the root and fatness of the olive tree. All
right, so here's the process now. It is using the Gentiles as illustrating the process of the grafting in to show where the Gentiles came in. The Gentiles, there is the root, and there's a tree, and there are the branches. Some of the branches were broken off, and the Gentiles were grafted in. Now we know that the grafting in process is not natural. It's another piece from another tree that is stuck in, and then it grows on that tree. Now the process of it is the tree that is bearing it may reject the graft. There is no guarantee that that graft will flourish on that tree, because the tree can reject the graft. Likewise, when those branches are broken off, the natural branches can easily grow themselves. Again, another branch can spring up, right?
Mm-hmm. Brother Brian.
Yes.
And the reason why they don't guarantee, because they are being grafted, that means they are not original.
Yeah, great. That's it. That's it. You're not originally part of it, so there's no guarantee. So here are the instructions, and this is what most Gentiles are guilty of. They create their religion and they talk about, oh, when Jesus come and this and that. And when they talk about Israel, they reject it and follow the false Israel. Even when they give them information about, look up who the children of Israel are, they don't want to hear. Verse 18.
Brother Brian, hold on.
Yes.
You know that they take that word grafted and say that we are the ones who are grafted in. That's what they are
Yes,
saying.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Explain that to me, please.
They say that we are not the true Israel, so
Right.
we are grafted in and become spiritual Israel. That's what they say.
When we were in Yahweh church, the sacred namer, that's what they told us. We even have a song about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a reason. It is a reason why I was saying that Christianity does not show you the truth in Scripture, because the people who are the chosen do not know they are the chosen, so they cannot come back to the Father because they can't begin to do the will of the Father, like keeping the Sabbath,
Yes.
keeping the
They don't know who
Levitical
they
diet.
are.
Yes, so the longer the deception continues, because the Christian will is what is propagating the prolonging of the children returning, because it's instilling the opposite of what the
Yes.
Scripture is.
Yes.
So that's the reason why there's all this conflict. That's why the original sons and daughters are actually suffering, because they are really blinded.
Yes.
So
that is why
it is
our job.
witchcraft.
Yes. And that is why our job is to wake them up. That is why the most important thing is to wake up our people. And while waking up our people, we wake up the Gentiles as well who are sleeping, and let them know so that they can act in accordance and walk in Yahuwah's way instead of walking in their own way. Somebody was saying something?
Tell Tanya to mute her phone. It's causing an echo.
Yeah.
All right.
Brother Brian, tell Tanya to mute her phone.
It's
Or
muted.
something. Okay. Not much better. Yeah.
All right, verse 18.
Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
Don't boast against the branches, or else you will not be a firm graft.
So
Verse
that's
19.
Pardon? So when they are boasting, right?
Yeah.
That is how the original tree or whatever would reject the grafted branch.
Yes.
Okay.
Verse 21 is going to tell us that. All right. Verse
I don't
19.
understand. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, Brother Brian. I don't understand what he says, boast not against the branches.
If the branches were broken off and you be grafted in, right? Blindness in part has happened to Israel. And blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. So if blindness in part has happened to Israel and you are allowed to partake in Israel's salvation, do not boast against the children of Israel. Meaning, do not act high-minded and cocky as the Gentiles do now, as if they own the faith and the faith is surrounding them and it's all about Christians and it's no longer about you, Israelites. And you understand?
Right. All right. Got you.
Yeah. All right. Verse 19. Read, please.
Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
Continue.
Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear.
All right. You see what I was saying? Don't be boastful. Don't be cocky. But be fearful, because they were broken off through unbelief. Because our people believed not and went after other idols, that is why it happened to them. Verse 21, 11:21.
For if Yahuwah spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee.
All right, you see why they must not boast, Queenie?
Yes.
Because,
Question.
yeah, go ahead.
Back to verse 20. It
Yeah.
says, well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, right?
Yes.
And thou standest by faith.
Yep.
Can you explain that part, please?
All right. The children of Israel were cut off through unbelief. At the time when when this was spoken, Yahushua HaMashiach was there, was being preached to them, but they rejected, many of them rejected it. So they rejected it because of unbelief. And so because of unbelief, they are broken off from this Israel of Yahuwah, this new creation of Israel that the Most High was doing, the remnant of Israel. So they were, as it were, broken off of the tree. And because the Gentiles now come in and believe in the Messiah, then they now have taken the place of these Israelites who had rejected the Messiah.
All right.
You with
I
me?
understand, yes. But the part that says, and thou standest by faith.
Because they now are in this olive tree because they believe in Yahusha. Right?
They who?
They the Gentiles.
Okay. So the first section is about Israel.
Yes.
Okay.
And this now is the Gentiles. And this is the same thing when in Matthew 15:24, when the Messiah said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the woman showed her faith and said, even the dogs eat the crumbs from the master's table. And the Messiah said, oh, great is thy faith. Be it unto you as you wish. And she got what she wished. It's the same principle.
Got you.
Romans 11:21.
Brian, Paul was a Gentile, right?
Pardon?
Was Paul a Gentile? He was
No.
No.
He was a
It's
Hebrew
not
from the
Christianity.
tribe. He was a Hebrew from the tribe of Benjamin.
Benjamin, yeah.
All right. 21. Yeah.
For if Yahuwah spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore,
continue.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Yahuwah on them which fell, severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
Okay, you see that? There's a condition. They're not just there and you believe in Jesus and that. If you continue in his goodness, if you continue in his favor, following the Messiah and obeying his commandments, taking his covenant in your hand, right? That is, otherwise you shall be cut off. And hear this again, verse 23.
And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Yahuwah is able to graft them in again.
All right, so even though the Israelites are cut off, Yahuwah can bring them in again, as long as they believe. Right?
Yes.
Verse 24 now.
For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert graft contrary to nature into a
contrary to nature. Continue.
How much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree?
All right. Hallelujah. So easily Israelites can be grafted back into their own olive tree.
Hallelujah.
All right. So we're going to conclude it with these final two verses. Verse 25.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
Okay, so the Gentiles have a period, and this has been going on for over 2,000 years. Because up to about 400 years before the Messiah, they were under the Greek captivity. So it's been going on for hundreds of years. The Gentiles have their time. their time is now coming to an end. And during this time, Yahuwah blinded us in part. And even us who have been in captivity, we were blinded. Many of us now just awakening out of this blindness that Yahuwah had slapped on us until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And this is why we need to continue to preach to the Gentiles. Those of us who love to ignore the Gentiles, their time is not yet at an end. There is still time for them to come in until the fullness, because you don't want Yahuwah to want a Gentile to come in and you be the one that is blocking the door. All right? So we have to continue to preach to everyone. We need to continue to wake up our people as to who they are. And we also need to tell the Gentiles who they are. And not only that, we need to tell the Gentiles they have to not utterly separate themselves from his people. And they have to take hold of his covenants and of his Sabbath. And they cannot boast against the branches. All of those dangers are there for the Gentiles. All right? So when the fullness of the time of the Gentiles be come in, the whole 12 tribes, the 2/6 of Israel will be joined together. Verse 26.
And so all Israel shall be saved. As it's written, they shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
For this is my covenant. Continue.
For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins.
Okay, so that's it. Perfect conclusion.
Hallelujah.
2 sticks coming together, the whole house of Israel, all Israel, the whole families of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel shall be saved. A remnant out of the 12 tribes shall be saved. A remnant plus the Gentiles who have taken hold of the covenant shall be saved. Yes?
Brother Brian, what is Zion the deliverer?
There shall come out of Zion the deliverer.
Oh, Zion. Okay.
Yeah. And the deliverer, of course, this is Yahusha.
Okay.
All
So
right.
Zion is different from Zion?
If what?
Zion with an S is different from Zion?
No, this is the same. It is the same Zion. But what you have here, you have the New Testament with Greek renditions. So, for example, the name Isaiah in the New Testament is written Esaias, E-S-I-A-S. But in the Old Testament, it is written as I-S-A-I-A-H. Likewise, Hosea is written O-S-E-E in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament, it's H-O-S-E-A. It's just the language.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Brother Brian.
Yes, sir.
So safe to say, as of now, we will not have the full understanding as yet, because that is in part, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the time will come when we will input all that we need to know and understand on the inward parts. Very good.
Yes. And Rain, that's a very good observation, because we as people out here who are teaching, etc., we pride ourselves so much in not wanting to make an error. We hold on to lies, even when we know that it is the truth, but we don't want it to show us up as having made a mistake. This is one person who is not going to be afraid, because guess what? I have Romans 11:25 here that says blindness in part until the fullness of the Gentiles. That means I am liable to make error until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in.
Very clear,
Right?
very, very clear.
It's very, very clear. So what
And
we need to do, yeah, go ahead.
With that, we definitely have to get the full understanding that it is not a capital N-O-T about us. So because it is not about us, if we're going to make a mistake, guess what? It's not about us.
Yep.
That is where self also comes in, you know. So that's, again, we have to deny self totally. So even if you make mistakes, self cannot be upset.
Yep. Yeah, man, we are gonna make mistakes because this is a learning process for all of us. But the problem is we always try to act as if we know it all or we are masters of everything. Because we're afraid that if we say, okay, this is wrong, I made an error there, that people say, oh, you're false. I don't care if anybody wants to say I'm false. When I meet upon an error, I will show the error. Right? Because none of us knows it all. Because you see, when I watch videos on YouTube, every single person that I see, I find something that they don't have right. Trust me, no matter how powerful or great the person or the organization is, I can find flaws. And I look at it and I say, if I find flaws with everybody, that means I must be also full of flaws.
Exactly, that's a good one.
Yeah. So who am I to be finding all these flaws with everybody and me being without flaw? No. So
And
I have
if
to
there's
accept.
no flaws, if there's no flaws, there are lies around it.
Yeah.
If there's no flaws, there are lies.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. There have to be flaws. So let me just finish this video. All right. So this is another teaching from Just a Word. You can check out more of our teachings on our website, justaword.org. This is Eliyahu Yasharal. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more of our videos, okay? We do these teachings every week on the Shabbats, all right? We hope you learned something from it and continue to join us. So please like, subscribe, comment, share our videos so that the word goes around. Once again, thank you for watching. All right. And a reminder also that on our channel, we have our vlogs, short, maybe 15 to 20 minutes videos that illustrate particular topics that can really edify you and help you along your way of understanding. All right. So continue to watch and share, comment, like. All right. Until next time, see you again. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Shalom.